welcome. Thank you for the introduction. I'm Tamsin Ford, and I would introduce our guests again today for this session on building the network. We have Ayodele Adenike, as we just heard, who's the head of network development and management at SpeedAF Nigeria, a package delivery service between China and Africa. Ayodele is based in Lagos, Nigeria, and Umar Bass, the co-founder and CEO of Yobante Express, also a package delivery service, but focusing on connecting local couriers with local commerce, based in Dakar, Senegal. Thank you both for joining us today. Welcome. Before we get into this topic, thank you. I think there might be a few seconds delay, so people can bear with us. But yeah, before we get into this topic of e-logistics and what that means for countries in Africa, I just wanted to talk about the pandemic and the effect that's had on your companies. For so many entrepreneurs and businesses, COVID really proved to be catastrophic. But for you, Umar, you launched Yobante Express at the end of 2018, but it was really during the pandemic where you saw the rapid expansion of your business, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So thank you so much for that introduction. So according to the survey from MasterCard Foundation, there's 73% of consumers in Middle East and Africa that are shopping more online since the start of the pandemic. So that's just something that we've seen on the field, on the ground with Yobante Express. Of course, we had started our operation on November 2018. Just to give you a more idea about what we're doing, Yobante Express do connect local couriers with local commerce using cutting-edge technology via a web and mobile platform to connect independent and casual carriers delivering from point to point until the last mile delivery. So we have seen that surge of online purchases, mainly coming from e-commerce businesses, coming from another category, which is, we're naming the social sellers. Those online merchants, those e-merchants that are selling from social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram. We're getting more than 58% of that surge, which is coming from, those e-merchants. So we're seeing with Yobante Express that we're delivering more and more full. Definitely, we can say 83% of the deliveries that we're making on a daily basis. Now we have exceeded 100,025 deliveries per month. So, which is definitely something which is coming from those categories. We also do delivery for individuals. Mainly, we're doing domestic, last mile, first mile, and as well as cross border, where we have started in South Africa, where we deliver within South Africa, but without South Africa, from South Africa to Zimbabwe, and from South Africa to Botswana, and of course from Botswana, Zimbabwe to South Africa. We are more excited to announce that we have successfully made our multiple cross-border delivery segment between Nigeria, Lagos to Dakar, crossing the Benin Republic with Nigeria border and Benin Togo border, Togo, Ghana border, and then Ghana Cote d'Ivoire all the way to Mali and to Senegal. Yes.
Umar, just give us an idea of where Yobante Express was in terms of size and the number of countries you delivered to at the start of 2019 and where it is now.
So we have started in our home country, Senegal, which we started delivering our first parcels on November 2018. We went from one country to now 8 countries. We're delivering in and out of 8 countries in Africa, and we keep on growing because of we have completed our seed round, and as well as we have done since 2019 successful pilots first in South Africa, Zimbabwe, Botswana, and then Nigeria, Ghana. So now we're on a 100 days plan to reach critical mass in the other countries that we operate in. So now we also launching in new markets such as Mali, such as Benin, Togo, such as even some North African countries such as Morocco, Algeria, and all that, because we're getting more clients that are not only based on the markets that we're operating, that are e-commerce businesses, but are located abroad and do send parcels to us for us to complete either the domestic or the last mile for them. So we just went from delivering 50 parcels a day when we started. Now we're just delivering more than 125,000 parcels on a month. So we will reach the 2 million parcel delivered before the end of the 2021. So we expecting to being able to connect Lagos to Dakar. As part of that, we have completed our first parcel, which has crossed typically, which is completely insane, 5 borders. So it just on the overnight delivery per each border that we have crossed, and we come up with 6 days of transit time between Nigeria
Right.
and Dakar
Yeah.
at 40% cheaper and twice as fast because it's
Okay.
completely insane. It's cost $52 with your Bond Express compared to
So
the, I
you've
mean,
really expanded over the last few years.
yeah, exactly. So compared
Okay,
to,
let's turn to Ayodele now. Sorry to interrupt
okay,
you, Umar. I'm conscious that this session is very long, so we've each got to be a little bit brief in our answers, and I really want to hear from Ayodele too. Ayodele, SpeedAF is a Chinese company, and it started its Nigeria operation at the end of 2019, but you joined in October 2020 during the pandemic. Just tell us how SpeedAF Nigeria has expanded in the 12 months since you've been there.
Okay. Interestingly, when SpeedUp got to Nigeria, COVID started almost immediately. About 2 months after we established in Nigeria, COVID started. So there was a slowdown, and it picked up around July in 2020. I joined the company in October. At that time, we had about 8 stations all over Nigeria. And between that time and now, we have 86. So that's an additional 80 stations across Nigeria. And that's a very, very big leap. Our target for the year is 100 stations to be able to deliver 33,000 parcels per day. Currently, we are able to deliver 20,000 parcels per day. So for the year's target, we have 86%. We have achieved 86% of the year's target. It has not been easy for a company to get into Nigeria, and in a span of 1 year, we're able to establish in 86 locations across the country, and we are able to effectively deliver customer parcels. It's not been easy. It's not been easy.
But you've managed and you've really flourished. Ayodele, just give us an idea of how the pandemic affected the supply chains in the markets that you work in.
Okay. When the pandemic came, I was not with Speed Up Express, but I experienced it firsthand. I was then with GIG Logistics. So, fortunately for us, then we launched a mobile application that could link uh, customers who want to send parcels to anywhere in Nigeria uh, with the rider. They could call up the rider on the mobile app, and then the rider will go to wherever they are, pick up the parcels, and then get it sent to anywhere in Nigeria. So that came in handy when the pandemic struck. Okay, and we were able to go to customers' homes, collect the parcels from them, send it anywhere they want to send it to, and also deliver it to the various homes. At that time, because there was lockdown, uh, preference was given to logistics companies to move, even though there were curfew, and there were some times that you could not be on the road, but we still had because of the sensitivity of the service, we were able to move around. Government gave us preference to move around, so we were able to effectively deliver to essential items like drugs to people who needed them across the country, and the business grew rapidly, almost doubled. The sales almost doubled. So that's to show you that the logistics business can actually flourish in a digital environment more than it is doing currently right now.
Umar, was this something you witnessed as well? While COVID crippled supply chains in terms of your traditional public transport and your traditional supply chains, it actually provided opportunities for businesses like yours.
Yeah, exactly. Because let me just give a quick reminder of that huge side of e-commerce market in Africa. So which was you know estimated to just have generated over 16 billion of billion in revenues in 2017, right? And the forecast of the revenues are 29 billion by 22. So that's definitely the size of the markets. But with this pandemic, we have seen that massive surge of online orders, mainly coming from e-commerce, but not only from e-commerces, but for retail businesses and as well as for business with career needs. Typically, all type of services which need exchange information between local branches, international branches, clients, providers, suppliers, and partners, as well as financial enterprises, corporate businesses, development agencies, all was active mainly in this pandemic to definitely get in touch with companies such as Ubuntu. So we have especially done a lot of operation with this pandemic with the Belgium Development Agency in Abo, where we did deliver over 620 tons of unions in Senegal to 7 different regions. So we have done that for Wallonie Bruxelles Corporation, would do. Development agency as well, which do operate. In Senegal mainly. So we
Right.
definitely doing the same for other organization. We did deliver it. More than we have delivered to more than 12,000 consumers in Senegal during this
Right.
special
Okay.
pandemic. So that was the bread delivery as well. So we have done massive
Right.
operations for our clients, but also for the government and as well as for NGOs and for development agencies, which mainly are operating in Africa. So that's the
Right.
kind of
Okay.
things that I had to add on what I have already said.
Okay. Munia mentioned the word infrastructure in her opening remarks. Umar, in terms of the infrastructure needed to make digital platforms like yours work, what would you say is the biggest challenge?
So typically we have three biggest challenges. Mainly, the first one will be the structural challenges because, of course, developing a platform which do require skilled people and as well as a great vision and key understanding of the local context as well. So that's what we had because I'm a second level startup founder and a computer science engineer with 9 years experience in digital. I have a 1 year PhD in machine learning. So my team is composed of Alaji, my co-founder, but
Let's look at
Alaji,
the challenges what are the
um,
specific challenges that you face, that
mainly
digital
structural.
platforms face?
Yeah. So you could develop the tech, of course, but there's no particular challenge on the tech side. But mainly, it's on execution on how you will make people actually use your platform, how you will enhance people to keep on doing it, how people could see the value out of the platform. And the other thing, based on our own experience, will be building the Ubuntu Express infrastructure because Ubuntu Express infrastructure is built over resilient meshing of independent agent, which are relay points where people could go and drop off their parcel. Mainly coming from a francophone speaking country, we have languages barriers, understanding of the local cultures, local context. Because we spend in South Africa $5,000 on our first Facebook ad without getting zero conversion, and the problem was not that we did not have the same creative or the right creative or the right language. But the problem was we was targeting, spaza shop owners in South Africa, while spaza shop owner, do not use English as their Facebook language. So we was just getting out of our target because we did not know, while we was doing our customer discovery, we have discovered that spaza shop owners in South Africa mainly speak some, Swahili, Urdu language, and
Right.
people, they're not from South Africa, they're mainly from Somali, Afghanistan, and other countries. So that's
Right.
how we come up on getting that
So
into
these were
Yobante. So language barriers could
specific.
be,
These
yeah,
are
yeah, yeah. And
specific challenges to Yobante Express rather than infrastructure. But Ayodele, Munia also mentioned the African Continental Free Trade Area that, as you know, began officially in January this year. Have you noticed so far any of the policies having a positive impact on your trade and your delivery service, or have you not really felt anything yet?
We have not felt anything yet, okay? Mainly because for speed of operations, we operate within the countries that we are present in. The major part of the free trade agreement is cross-border trade. Okay, for Speed Up Express, we are still operating inside the countries that we established in. The second stage will be to now connect those countries, connect the customers in those countries, and move stuff between those countries. But currently, we are operating inside the countries that we are operating. We're in Ghana, Uganda, Kenya, Nigeria, Egypt, and Morocco currently. So what we are doing currently is to build our network within those countries. Like I told you, in Nigeria, our target this year is to build 100 stations, and we are on 86, currently on 86. We are driving the target, currently trying to get to the 100 target. And so also in all these other countries, we have the targets to build our network within those countries. We also have plans to establish in other countries in Africa. Okay, so and the second stage will now be to now connect customers within those countries, so that when you send from one country to the other, from Nigeria to Egypt, for instance, when we send from Nigeria to Egypt, when the goods get to Egypt, the speed up office in Egypt will take over and then do the final delivery over there.
So then, Ayodele, when we're talking about infrastructure challenges, roads, internet networks, your sort of big infrastructure specifics, I guess, what would you say for you then are the biggest challenges?
Yeah, road is one, and it's a very big challenge in Nigeria. Actually, the road network is not too good, although the government is working fervently to correct this, but still it is not at its desired state. So that is one. The other one I would say is maybe, yeah, infrastructure. Yes, infrastructure in terms of payment infrastructure. Okay. Yes, we have a lot of payment integration companies in Nigeria that could enable a customer to buy from anywhere. But in Africa generally, people are not they have not totally bought into buying stuff online, so they prefer to pay cash on delivery. They prefer to order. When you bring the goods, they check it, they make sure that it's okay before they pay for it. The other side is they don't want to use their credit information online because of distrust, or because they're not too sure. So this needs to be worked on, because when you see the percentage of the African population is about 400 million, and the percentage of this population that has bank account is about 20%. Okay, So that infrastructure needs to be worked upon. We need to work upon that in order to tap into this big market. Okay, so those are the two major challenges.
It's interesting you mentioned digital payments because, of course, digital payments over the last 2 years have seen a huge leap during the pandemic across Africa, with physical banks closing during lockdowns. Fintech companies really sprang up to fill the gap. And while people, as you say, your experience is that they're not so confident with actually paying for goods digitally, people often receive their salaries digitally, and digital payment systems are way more advanced in some African countries than many European ones. Also, my experience, I lived in West Africa for the best part of a decade. But then, how, Ayodele, do these digital payments fit into the e-logistics sector?
Okay, again, there are a lot of people in the rural area who will want to buy stuff. Okay, so a lot of Nigerians use mobile phone. Of course, they have access. They have access to see these items online. Okay, but if they are not able to pay for it, they will not be able to buy those stuff, and the seller will not be able to sell to this large population of people. So digital payment is a very, very important aspect of e-commerce, especially because a lot of people have access to internet in Nigeria, which incidentally has the largest population in Africa. So any seller who wants to sell in Africa needs to sell in Nigeria because the market is very huge.
Umar, then, how does technology and innovation, especially when it comes to digital payment systems, play a role in your experience in the e-logistics sector?
So what you need to understand is the local context in Africa is very important because, as it's have been already said, a lot of people are not really keen to pay online in Africa. So that's where you come up with other alternatives, like people paying on delivery. So that's the kind of things that we could handle for e-commerce merchants, and that's what we have done so far. So it's nearly, you know. 60% of the payments that have been made through the digital platforms. But the other part are still paying on delivery, and that's when you come up to proposing and allowing, those merchants to use other, you know, um, direct payment solutions such as Wave. We have seen that now we have a new unicorn in Africa, which is Wave, which do typically operate in Senegalese markets and which is now trying to expand in the other markets. So that's when you have, a deep understanding of your local market, when you have correctly reached that critical mass in your market, even a small market. So since Senegal is just 15 million of inhabitants, so compared to Lagos where you have over 25 million of people, which just Lagos alone have more population than the whole Senegalese territory. And now you have a unicorn which is just only operating in Senegal because of that, because they allow people not only to pay online, but to pay physically and to go using cutting edge technologies such as you know QR codes and you via a mobile app and so on. So with Yobant Express, we're partnering with those payment solution providers as well as with mobile banking solutions such as the French telco company Orange, which do provide that solution Orange Money, which allow businesses as well as individual to pay physically or to pay on the shops. So what is new with your Bounty Express model is we using independent agents. So we do leverage on already existing network of points, which are relay points, where people was not only going there to get credit or to get some mobile banking, deposit, but also they could just go there to drop off their parcel, and we could handle the delivery for them. So online payment solutions as well, definitely benefiting from that surge of e-commerce, because you have three pillars in the e-commerce sector, right? You have, first
Right.
of all, the platform, the digital platform, right, which is the website. You have the catalog, you have the whole thing, the CEO, and all the things that needed to be done online. So from getting the client from the social media to the website, from getting the client to click and to buy directly. So that's the first pillar. So that's the technological part of that. And the second one, which is the online payment solution, because when the client have seen the product and he want to get the product, and he click on the product, he need to be able to pay online. So that's when you need fintech
Right.
solutions, right? And we know that Africa is really advanced on that, because the whole concept of mobile money and the whole concept of you know um, paying using a smartphone is born in
Yeah.
Africa, right? So decades ago, I'm not talking about that's have been decade. We have seen M-Pesa, which is already existing in Kenya for almost a decade now, right?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
the third pillar, which is the logistics. When you're able to see a product online and to buy online, you need to be able to get the product delivered to your address, right? That's where you're getting these three pillars that are essential for a good e-commerce and prosperous e-commerce business or
Right.
ecosystem. So that's how we, definitely partnering with all those sectors to make, the logistic as well as the e-commerce
Okay.
segment in Africa growing, and that's what we're doing in
All
the
right.
works that we do right now.
So then, to sum up, really, while digital payments and mobile money has boomed not just in the last few years, of course, over the last few decades, as you have said, there is still a hole to fill when it comes to e-logistics, and there's still more information that needs to be delivered to the customer so that they really trust what they're doing. Ayodele, talking about digital platforms in e-logistics and supply chains, how have they changed over the last few years?
Um, Talking about Nigeria, there is a lot of significant change in the past 5 years from my own experience. Um, I experienced this firsthand in my previous employment, where a customer could, from the comfort of his home, a business owner, this social media, this social those customers who sell on social media, they could go to their wallet, fund their wallet from the comfort of their homes with their e-card, with their bank cards, and then top up the credit in their wallet and be able to do transaction without getting in touch with the company at all. Okay, they just need to pay through their card, make payments to their wallet, and then they begin to do transactions without having to confirm the payment with the company, whether the company has seen the payment in their bank statement, and then somebody will now go to the back end and go and credit the wallet. This is done automatically, okay? From the comfort of your home, of your office, you top up your wallet and you begin to do transactions, whether it's for shipping, to pay for the shipping or whatever. So this has significantly changed the landscape, the e-commerce landscape in Nigeria. Prior to 2014, about 6, 7 years ago, nothing like this existed. Even e-commerce was novel at that time, and then everything was done manually, and a lot of issues came up. For example, the payment on delivery. Payment on delivery is very, very, very critical and very sensitive. Okay, so the parcel delivery company is not only going to deliver the parcel, it's going to ensure that the money is collected as the parcel is delivered to the customer. The money is collected, and that money is managed every day. Is managed, is reconciled every day, so that you can pay back to the merchant. Otherwise, you don't have a business. So it's very, very, very technical. It's very, very sensitive, and a lot of parcel delivery companies have burnt their fingers in this regard because they did not pay close attention to this. For you to be able to manage the pay on delivery part aspect of the business, you need a system that is very smart, and robust that could do reconciliation online real time. Otherwise, you're going to have issues because um, at the point of collecting this cash, if you don't have a system that is transparent, you will not be able to, you cannot ensure that that money is banked immediately. And the money is banked, and the correct amount of money is banked every day for all the parcels that are delivered, pay on delivery. You need to ensure that is done. And of course, you need to do reconciliation real time. And when we're talking about reconciliation, we're talking about volume here, okay? For a parcel delivery company that delivers about 20,000 every day, you can imagine the hell it will go through if it has to do this manually. So digital platforms have come to stay, and and I think it's the most important aspect of the e-commerce business in Africa, given the fact that majority of the people, especially those who are yet to tap into this, are not comfortable with making payment online before they see the goods.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that 5-6 years ago, these types of platforms didn't even exist in Nigeria. I remember when Jumia came to Ivory Coast, and it was considered quite a strange thing, this idea of buying something online and then it arriving, but it boomed in Ivory Coast. So that's the sort of last 5 or 6 years. Umar, then, how do you think they will change over the next 5 years?
So I think it will keep on growing drastically at the point that now we're seeing a lot of unicorn into the fintech segment, but what is coming next is the e-logistics segment. So look, take a look at a company like Yobant Express. So we started with our platform just nearly 2 years and a half ago in Senegal, and now we do operate in 8 markets, and we have completed a $1.2 million seed round. And let's say at the end of the year we will do our Series A, and then it will just keep on booming because we're adding trackability, accountability on the informal logistic delivery processes which do existing in Africa for nearly 5 centuries. So it's typically insane how you could see the digital part of the business just being a game changer of the whole processes, and that's what we have already been seeing into the fintech segment. We're getting more and more unicorns that are coming from that segment, either from anglophone countries, either from Nigeria, South Africa, Egypt, and now Senegal. So what will be the next? So that will just disrupt the whole processes. And we have been seeing also um, the new digital banks such as Kuda, which are taking over the banking segments, which are definitely, as we were saying earlier. So we have nearly just 3% of the African population, which is banked. Actually, the whole rest of the population is unbanked. So getting companies such as Kuda Bank, which are allowing you to have a digital, a mobile, bank which could allow you to do payment, which could allow you to get a credit card, would just disrupt the whole payment processes. And on the next 5 years, we will be seeing nearly 80% of African which are transacting online, and that process has already started. So the thing is, the fire is already booming. So we just needed more gas to make that blowing up, and that's what we're starting to see with all those foundings that we're hearing on a weekly basis. So Africa is attracting investment, and the key 4 things that you need to boost a ecosystem or a sector. Now we're talking about the commerce sector, and specifically about the e-commerce. That will be attracting founding, and being able to get facilitation support from a acceleration programs from incubators and all of that, and of course getting this the team set up, the skills that African people do need. So we have great university, we have talented African entrepreneurs, yeah, tech savvy entrepreneurs. So it's important to emphasize that tech savvy entrepreneurs. And the remaining thing will be support from the government and facilitations and
Right.
policies that will help startup, being built and scaled rapidly over the continent. So now we're saying with the Startup Act in Senegal, in Tunisia, and in other countries, that the government itself, with the DARE, which is the investment branch of the Senegalese government, which to
Right.
invest on startups, that is supporting, I mean, and allowing startups to scale and providing support.
Okay.
They have launched the DARE, which is a incubator also supported by the government. So that's what we're
Right.
seeing now in Cote d'Ivoire, in Congo, in other countries. So that's really what will enhance and what will just blow the whole thing up and add more gas to what is already happening in Africa.
Right. It's interesting you talk about the role of challenger banks in the next 5 years across Africa, and that's going to be the next big thing in the fintech scene. Turning back briefly then to the pandemic, boosting trade obviously is a crucial factor in economic growth, but especially when we're talking about a post-pandemic recovery, where the least developed countries have seen a massive rise in what's being called the new COVID poor. Ayodele, how important is the e-logistics sector in this recovery when we're talking about jobs, we're talking about opportunities? How crucial do you think the e-logistics sector is in terms of this post-pandemic recovery?
Um, it's very, very, very important. Okay, because when you look at when talking about infrastructure, like I said earlier, payment infrastructure is also part of it. So COVID has brought out the best, okay, in payment infrastructure in Africa as a whole. So this is going to continue to improve, just like Umar said earlier. It's going to continue to improve and then have a positive impact on uh, on Africa, on the e-commerce trade post-COVID.
Umar, turning to you, the same question. How important do you think this e-logistics sector is for the post-pandemic recovery of the least developed countries?
So I will just be more specific on that because there's like key sources of impact that the e-logistic could get to the discussions that we're pointing out. So that the first one will be supporting the development of micro entrepreneurs acting as independent agents and individuals e-commerce actors, right? That's something that could just create new opportunities that could allow people to get new jobs. And of course, you need to be, aware of that, and you need to be trained in order to be able to take fully advantage of that opportunity. So I will be more specific on Yobante Express example because, with Yobante, we have 56 full-time employees, right? We started as, 6 team members. Now we have 56 employees, which are mainly working on the logistics support, sales, marketing, HR, accountant, all of that. But simultaneously, we have a network of over 800 independent agents, and we're working with nearly 1,200 independent and casual carrier. That massive network is just, getting revenues from the Yobante Express. We're allowing anyone that owning a shop and then anyone owning a physical location, anyone owning a truck, anyone riding a bus, anyone which is traveling in the same direction of the parcel to make money as part of the Yobante Express network. So on average, we're charging $6 per delivery. And within these $6, we're paying 25% commission to the relay points, to the independent agents, and we're paying another 50% to the independent and casual carriers. So that's the kind of new jobs that the e-logistic could unleash, could allow those unemployed youth in Africa could take advantage. And the other thing will be unlocking the domestic and the international trade. We was talking earlier about, the Africa Free Trade Zone, which has already been voted, but which is not yet, fully operational. But still, that could definitely, unleash the potential of the e-commerce segment. Of course, that being said, the whole logistic could also help on reducing cost. I'm talking here about the domestic shipment of merchandise and, of course, on resulting the lower prices to consumers. And that will just, create new opportunities for local producers. For instance, local producers that mainly are active in the agricultural sector and which do definitely need the e-logistic and the e-commerce to be able to sell not only nationwide but also to export. So that's a huge potential that I'm thinking it's allowing to get more and more comfortable jobs for and decent jobs for African youth.
This session so far has been incredibly positive about e-commerce, e-logistics, the role in the post-pandemic recovery, your exponential growth. But Ayodele, do you think this e-logistics sector is really prepared for more economic growth?
Yes, I think so, because a lot of people are now seeing a value in doing business online. If you look at generally, people are more comfortable with doing business online. In Nigeria, for instance, you have a lot of people who do your regular 9 to 5 job. They have office job, but on the side, they're selling stuff like clothes and shoes and cosmetics on the side. So more and more people are getting involved in this, and for their second source of income. And I also see a growth along this line too. Yeah.
Sorry, continue your train of thought. We had one of our, for audience members, we had a producer talking in our ear, but continue your train of thought, Ayodele. And then what we will do is we are heading towards the end of this session, so I'll get a few quick words from both of you. But yeah, Ayodele, just continue your thought there about the e-logistics sector's readiness for this economic growth.
Okay, because we have seen that everybody has seen that COVID is actually an eye opener. Although it's a catastrophe, it's also an eye opener. It's an eye opener in the sense that there are so many things that we could do online that we have not been doing online. For instance, a lot of people started working from home post COVID or during the lockdown, and I'm very sure that majority of companies otherwise would not have allowed their staff to work from home. But during the COVID lockdown, a lot of people work from home, and actually some of them have not really gone back to the office 100%. So I think doing business online has really come to stay, and for the future, in order to prepare for this kind of uh, catastrophe again, I think more and more people will rely on the online platform to do their business.
Okay, thank you, Ayodele. And for you, Umar, just in brief, I know you've got lots to say and we love listening to it, but in brief, because we're running to the end of the session. For you then, what would you like to see happen to ensure this e-logistics, e-commerce sector within Africa does have the ability to continue to grow?
So I'm definitely convinced that the e-logistics sector has potential to sustain. I mean the current growth that we're seeing because of we're seeing a lot of brand gain, right? So I'm seeing a lot of repeats of trained executives returning to join African startups. So that's happened to us. So we have now three senior executives. That one is coming from Airbus, the French aircraft manufacturing company. He was a machine learning engineer, which was predicting, plane air crash 5 times before, the crash, the predicted crash, leveraging and cutting edge technology such as neural networks, machine learning, and all of that. We have seen also a social media expert, which is, background on conflicting, which was working with Facebook. So that's the skills part. And from another hand, we've seen that growth is not actually triggered by, a virtual one. That growth is real because it's unleashing the potential of Africa for commerce. So, and when you're talking about commerce, you're talking about trade, and then necessarily you're talking about logistics. So, as I was saying, there's three pillars for the e-commerce segment. So, and another interesting thing, which is like we're seeing, global investments in, in African companies, in
Umar,
African
final
logistics.
thoughts. I'm going to cut you short there. Sorry, Umar. Final thoughts, because we really have to go. Just finish your final thought for us.
So my final thought about it is, it will be keep on growing. As I was saying, the fire is already moving, and the gas is already here. So now people are just clicking in the van to just unleash that power. So I think it will keep on growing. So that's my
Brilliant.
thought.
Thank you. And that's interesting that you say a brain gain rather than a brain drain, which is what we usually hear. So that's a really wonderful thing. Umar Bass, the co-founder and CEO of Ubante Express in Dakar, Senegal. Ayodele Adenayake, the head of the network development and management of SpeedAF in Nigeria. Thank you both for joining us. That finishes this session, Building the Network. I'm Tamsin Ford, and I'll hand you back to Munia.